When it comes to everyday life, we have some things we're just so used to that we don't even think about it, even while using them, like pillows. But have you ever thought about why and when the thing was invented? Because many things have different purposes compared to what we think they're for. Many of those things, however, come with their own set of hidden and weird features most of us have no idea about, despite using them regularly. How many times have you looked at a strange hole and wondered what that's for? Let's look at 10 things that you didn't know the purpose of until now. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Number 10. Pillows. The pillow was first used in what is now present-day Iraq over 9,000 years ago. At that time, cotton wasn't really a thing, so pillows were made out of stone. The pillow was invented so that bugs would not crawl into the noses and ears and mouths of people while they were sleeping. It wasn't merely used for comfort or better sleep purposes. Ancient Egyptians also used pillows because they wanted to protect their heads, which they believed were the most important parts of the body. China was the first one to make soft pillows, but ancient Chinese used hard pillows because of the belief that soft pillows depleted the body's energy and were not effective at repelling demons. Africans believed that using pillows while sleeping would connect the sleeping person with his ancestors and also allow spirits to visit them in their sleep. Japanese geishas used small, hardened pillows so that their delicate hairstyles would not get scattered while they were asleep. In Europe, pillows were seen as a symbol of weakness, so men rarely used them. In fact, they were banned for use by anyone except pregnant women by King Henry VIII. Pillows only became softer and common during the Industrial Revolution when they were mass-produced by textile industries. Number 9. The tiny holes in plane windows. We all love to take the window seat of the plane whenever we're on one. If you've ever sat on the window side, you must have noticed a hole in the window. Now you must think that having a hole anywhere in an airplane is risky, let alone at the one place it seems most likely to break in case of an emergency. Then why the hole in the window, you're assuming? The holes are almost always on the outer layer of the windows and serve a few important purposes. For one, they keep the windows from fogging up like cars during the winter, as the temperature outside is almost always lower than the cabin temperature. More importantly, they minimize the pressure on the outermost window pane by distributing it among the inner layers, as the difference in pressure inside and outside the plane is very huge. Without these holes, we'd likely see a lot more plane crashes due to cracked windows than we do now. So, that's why the holes are so important. Number 8. CocaCola. If you think that your favorite drink was invented for good taste purposes only, then you're wrong. Coca-Cola was first invented as a glass of wine as an alternative to morphine. Why morphine, you must ask? Well, Coca-Cola was invented by John Pemberton, a pharmacist and U.S. Civil War veteran who'd been injured in the Battle of Columbus. Just like every other injured soldier back then, John began using morphine to reduce the pain of his injuries. And just like every other injured soldier back then, he became addicted to it. While searching for a cure for his addiction, he invented a drink called Pemberton's French Wine Coca, which was an alcoholic wine mixed with cola nut and coca plant from which cocaine is derived. His drink was similar to another drink called Vin Mariani, which was a mixture of wine and cocaine. Yes, you heard that right, cocaine. Both drinks were meant for curing morphine addiction. John Pemberton stopped using alcohol in his French wine coca in 1886 when a new law banned the sale of alcohol. He sold a new non-alcoholic drink made from a mixture of cane sugar, coca leaves, and cola nut as a medicinal drink and cure for morphine addiction. He set up a company to produce the drink, but later sold his shares. The new owners toyed with several names, including Coke and Yum Yum, before settling on Coca-Cola. But Coca-Cola was first developed for war soldiers to get over morphine addiction. Number 7. The tiny buttons on jeans. You must have thought that denim hasn't changed much for a long time, and you're correct. Denim jeans have remained largely unchanged since they were first invented in the 19th century, both as everyday attire and a high-fashion staple. It makes sense, too, as jeans are sturdy and can be worn in almost any type of weather. You also must have noticed tiny buttons near your pockets that don't really serve any purpose. We just assume that they're there to enhance the overall look of the jeans, but they're actually there for another reason most of us don't know about. Those buttons are known as rivets. Those buttons were originally meant to keep everything together, as jeans of yesteryear were supposed to be more sturdy than fashionable. They had a higher chance of falling apart than other types of trousers, as they were largely worn by professionals carrying heavy tools in their pockets like loggers and miners. The rivets protected the fabric from tearing under heavy load, which is also why denim jeans tend to stay intact around the pockets for a ridiculously long time. Number 6. Gas pump breakaway device. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you drove off with the nozzle of the gas pump before it was safely detached from your car? Someone must have tried doing it so they could get away without paying. It sounds like a dangerous outcome, as spilled gas could catch fire. A leak at a gas pump sounds like a recipe for disaster. That too because someone forgot to detach the nozzle. Thankfully, the manufacturers seem to have come up with a solution to that as well. Every gas pump nozzle has a breakaway device at its other end. If pulled on with enough force, the hose will come off and the gas will be kept from leaking everywhere. It's been made that way because it happens often. Even if we don't have the precise numbers on this, one gas station owner who was interviewed said that someone drives off with a nozzle in their car at least once a month. Hard to believe, but that happens, as the stupidity of people is unparalleled. Number 5. High heels. The purpose of high heels wasn't to make women look taller and better looking in the start. They weren't even designed for walking. The first high heels were made for Persian soldiers in the 16th century. They were made to give cavalry soldiers improved stability so they could shoot their bows with improved efficiency while riding on horses. High heels made it to Europe in the 1600s when they were worn by people of higher class. It was common knowledge that such a shoe, which was not meant for walking, could only be used for walking by someone who did not have to work, which could only mean that the wearer was a member of the upper class. Women began wearing heels to look more like men. Men wore fatter heels while women wore slimmer heels. Men only stopped wearing heels because it was no longer regarded as a status symbol for them, since women were also wearing it. Number 4. Special purpose of cooking pan holes. Pans mostly have holes in them, no matter where you go in the world. It's not a particularly pleasant-looking design choice, although it does make it easier to hang the utensils up on the wall when they're not in use. While it can be used for that, it's actually meant for another purpose altogether. The hole is actually there to hold the messy spoon while you're cooking, which is often a problem, as there's frequently no other place to keep it other than in the pan. It's especially handy for spoons made with plastic, as you can't leave them in the pan for long periods of time. Number 3. Pen caps have holes to prevent choking. You must have seen that many pens have caps with visible holes in them. If you really are talented, you can use such a cap as a working whistle. They don't seem to have any other utility otherwise, so you must be thinking that why would caps have holes that don't even look that good? The answer? Because of kids. As many students tend to play with the cap while using the pen at school, they risk accidentally swallowing them. Without holes, the caps would almost certainly choke anyone unfortunate enough to do that. The hole provides a passageway for air to pass through until you can get emergency care. While some pen manufacturers don't include them in their designs, most of them do. Like a pen cap stuck in the throat without these holes can be fatal. That's actually a law, to put holes in the caps. And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber. If you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it on a future video. Number 2. This picture is of the brush on sides of escalators. Most modern escalators have black bristles like on a brush on their sides. These brushes are designed to discourage people from standing right on the edge and make it less likely that clothing or feet would get dragged into the space between the sides and the steps. They look useless, but it is very useful, especially to make kids not get caught in them.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it, it really works.
Number 1. Cornflakes. We all know about the story of cornflakes. The first cornflakes were invented by the Kellogg brothers, John Harvey Kellogg and Will Keith Kellogg. But what we don't know is why they were made. The brothers had a strict lifestyle that forbade the consumption of meat, alcohol, tobacco, tea, and coffee. Milk and eggs were to be taken in limited quantities. Their parents were also against them getting an education because they believed that Christ would come sooner than expected. But John still earned a degree in medicine and soon became the head of a treatment center. He believed that red meat was one of the causes of sexual desires, which subsequently led to unholy sexual acts, so he worked on a food rich in cereals. He came up with cornflakes, a cereal-based meal meant more to prevent us from involving in bad sexual activities. That isn't the case now, considering we eat cereal every day. Did you know about this fascinating fact? That's our list of 10 things you didn't know the purpose of until now. Which one did you find the most fascinating? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.